Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate. Yesterday, we saw a Purva Paksha, or a query, a doubt. Nanu sahankarasya kinjitnyasya jivasya nirahankarasya sarvasya ishwarasya tattvamasi mahavakyat kathamabheda buddhisyad ubhayoho viruddha dharmakrantatvat. But the individual is endowed with ego and his knowledge is limited, whereas the Lord is without ego and is omniscient. Then how can there be identity? As stated in the great sentence, thou art that, between these two who are possessed of contradictory characteristics. That was the question. Here starts the Tattvamasi Viveka. It's known as, this portion is known as Tattvamasi Viveka, Mahavakya Viveka. So as we said, there are 4 Mahavakyas. Among Tattvamasi is known as the Upadesha Vakya. So, as the Purvapaksha says, this is an impossible thing, that Tat is Ishvara, Tum is Jiva. When you say Tattvamasi, that you are God, this is a very wrong kind of statement. How can that possible? So, before we enter into this Tattvamasi Viveka, we should study little bit of Bhasha Shastra, syntax. How the words carry the meaning. This entire thing, this entire study of the Bhasha is the subject matter of Mimamsa. I'm sure you have heard the word Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa. Purvamimamsa help us to understand the language. Purvamimamsa help us to understand how a language, a sentence, brings clarity. There are many, many things which are related to the language. And when we are talking here, it is the syntax or the Bhasha Shastra of Sanskrit, not of the English and other languages, because the Bhasha Shastra of English is very different from the Bhasha Shastra of Sanskrit, because in Sanskrit, because of the vibhaktis are together, if you say Ramaha Vanam Gacchati or Vanam Gacchati Ramaha, Gacchati Ramaha Vanam, there is no difference. But if you do the same thing in English, that will not convey any correct meaning. Rama goes to forest. If you say forest goes to Rama, the entire meaning will go. But so we are talking about Sanskrit's Bhasha Shastra. Now, when we are using sentences, there are 2 types of meanings in the Shastra, Bhasha, in the language. One is known as direct meaning, the other is known as indirect meaning. One is known as Vachya Artha. Second is known as Lakshya Artha. Vachya Artha and Lakshya Artha. Vachya Artha means direct meaning. Whatever it is says, that's the meaning. I am drinking a cup of coffee means I am drinking a cup of coffee. That's all. So, the direct meaning, Vachyartha is the direct meaning and Lakshyartha is the implied meaning. Means something is said, but what it meant is something else. For example, when you are a small child, you are asking your mother, I want to go and then have some street food, some fast food. Then your mother says, Ja, jaake jahar kha. Now go and eat poison. That is not the meaning. What the meaning is not that mother is asking you to eat poison. What is the vachyartha? Vachyartha is go and eat poison. But lakshyartha is don't eat. So this is known as the vachyartha and lakshyartha. When we say that, oh, he's a lion, we say, oh, no, Rana Pratap was a lion. What? How can Rana Pratap be a lion? What it means is he was a great, brave man, isn't it? So that is known as lakshyartha. हम कुछ बोलते हैं, परंतु what it means is something else. It's not the direct meaning. There's an implied meaning. One is known as direct meaning, another is implied meaning. So the Shastra Buddhi, when we study Shastra, we should train ourselves in both ways. What is Vachyartha and what is Lakshyartha? When we understand both, then only the Shastra makes, any meaning. If you only go taking only Vachyartha, it may not make any meaning to us. So when we study Shastrartha, both Vachya and Lakshyarthas are important. We should train ourselves to understand what is Vachyartha, what is Lakshyartha. Where Vachyartha is used, where implied meaning is used. That has to be developed. Now, Bhasha Shastra talks about understanding the meanings. So, there are different ways, when we are talking about the Lakshyartha mainly, there are different ways of understanding a meaning. We are talking Vachyartha, there's nothing more to think about, but Lakshyartha, implied meaning. How a sentence implies something higher, something different. That is the question. So I ask you, where is your house? So you tell me, my house is in MG Road. Whichever road is your road. So my house is in MG Road. When I say, we hear and we understand. What do we understand? His house is near MG Road. क्योंकि MG Road में तो कोई घर नहीं बन पाएंगे, no? Of course, it's possible in India, but generally it is not possible. You cannot build a road a house in the road. What it means, though, what is said, my house is in MG Road, but then we understand that what he means is his house is near the MG Road. This is an implied meaning, not Vachyartha. Now, what we did here is we have given up the entire meaning, what he said. It cannot be in the MG Road. We give up that the meaning completely, and we understood something. We understood that his house is near MG Road. Clear? Now, we go for a horse ride, okay, or horse race. Horse race. And then you have betted on a red horse. And then you are shouting, the red is running, the red is running, the red is running. How can red run? Red is a color, the color cannot run. But when we say the red is running, what we mean is the red horse is running. Now, when we say the red is running, we are retaining the redness and then implying something more. When we say that my house is in MG Road, the entire sentence is given up and something else is there. Here what we are retaining something and understand something more. Okay? So these are the two ways we understand many of the implied meanings. Okay. Now there's a third way. What is that? After some 10, 15 years, you go back to your village. For 10, 15 years, you are not gone there. And after 10, 15 years or so, you go back to your village. And then, your Mausi, your this, all of them are there. And then a very handsome young man comes and do namaskar to you. So if you look at him, you don't even know who is this. So your mother says, don't you recognize him? This is what that Kanaya. That Kanaya, which Kanaya? No, when you used to be here, you used to be always, behind you. You were to take him for cycling and all that. Then you remember that Kanaya. He was just 5 years old, and he's always from his nose, things will be coming out. And then he used to wear one small knicker, and that is very huge, so it will be always going down. So that Kanaya, okay? Now you see a very handsome young man. But you recognize, oh, that Kanaya is this. This happens. So when you say that this is that Kanaya, what you are doing is, you are doing a 2-layer kind of screening. One is, you remember that person who was 15 years back, a small boy, you give up his form and all that, and then this man, who is a young, handsome man, his form is also given up. Then you understand there is one entity which was common then and now. Then we get to understand, oh, this is that Kanaya. Here what we are doing, we are giving up also, retaining also. Giving up the form, retaining his nature. That's how we recognize, oh, this is that Kanaya. So, 3 ways of understanding the truth. Okay. One is known as Bhaga. This is, the entire process is known as Lakshana. Lakshana, not Lakshanam. Lakshanam means, what is the meaning of Lakshanam? We studied. Lakshana, Tadastha Lakshana, Surupa Lakshanam, etc. This is Lakshana, a process of recognition. What is Lakshana? A process of recognition, a process by which the Vachyartha is understood. How we understand a Vachyartha. That is known as Lakshana. First is known as Bhaga Lakshana. Second is Tyaga Lakshana. Third is Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. Okay. What is Bhaga Lakshana? You retain something. Like when we say the red is running, the redness is retained, and then we added something more, the horse. Tyaga Lakshana means you completely reject the sentence and understand something else. When we say the house is an MG road, the house cannot be MG road. The entire direct meaning is discarded, and then we understand something which is implied by that. That's not Tyaga Lakshana. In Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana, both are used. We are retaining something and we are giving up something. So by retaining and by rejection, we understand the meaning. Okay? So these are the 3 Lakshanas. Now let us think about Tattvamasi Vakya. Why all this coming? Because of Tattvamasi. In Tattvamasi there are 3 words, Tat, Tvam, Asi. What is Tat? We have studied. Tat means Brahma, Paramatma, plus Maya. What is Tvam? Paramatma, Brahma, plus Avidya. Now, when the Upanishad, the Guru gives us this wisdom, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. The understanding of Tattvamasi is not a direct thing. It is impossible. You cannot be God. So we have to take the other meaning. What's the other meaning? Direct meaning and implied meaning. In Sanskrit we call it Vachyartha and Lakshyartha. Vachyartha, the direct meaning is not possible. How can I be God? So this is the problem. When Advaita Vedanta or Upanishad says Tattvamasi, people take it literally and say, how is it possible? So your entire philosophy is wrong. Oh, sir, these words have different types of meaning. Not only literary meaning, there is an implied meaning. So in Tattvamasi Vakya, we have to take up the implied meaning, or in Sanskrit what we call Lakshyartha. In Lakshyartha also there are different processes. Now in Tattvamasi Vakya, we are using Bhagatyaga Lakshana. What is Bhagatyaga Lakshana? As we said, Soyam Devadattaha. Soyam Devadatta means this is that Devadatta. This is that boy who met 15 years back. Now there is 15 years back, his rupa, his bhava, everything was different. Now he is very different person. So what we do, we give up that name and form and this name and form, but then we see that there is something in that person which is common. That's how recognition comes to us. Oh, this is that Devadatta, that boy. So like that, there is not a Bhagatyaga Lakshana. In Tattvamasi Vakya also, we should apply Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Means you have to retain something and you have to reject something. What do you reject? You reject Maya and Avidya. And you retain Brahma. So when you reject Avidya and Maya, from the Maya of Tat and Avidya of Tvam, what is there is Brahman is equal to Brahman. So when they say Tat Tvam Asi, the Jiva is Alpajna, Ishvara is Sarvajna. You remove the Sarvajnatva and Alpajnatva, Sarvavyapakatva and Alpavyapakatva. Remove that. Then what truly exists is Brahman. That is the meaning of Tattvamasi. It is not that when you understand that, what is the direct meaning of Tattvamasi? You are God. What is the implied meaning of Tattvamasi? You are Brahman, not God. You cannot be God. We cannot even create one, safety pin. What to talk about the entire universe? So, the direct meaning of Tattvamasi is you are God. The implied meaning of Tattvamasi is you are Brahman. You remove the Shakti of yours as Avidya and the Shakti of Paramatma, which is Maya. You remove the Maya Tattva and Avidya Tattva. Then what remains is pure consciousness. That pure consciousness be. This is what Tattvamasi Vakya is trying to tell us. So it's a very simple logic, but sometimes, we are not ready to listen, so we get confused. Oh? Brahma. Brahma or Brahma? This Brahma.
This is Brahma.
Brahma.
The Almighty.
Paramatma.
Right, Paramatma. और जो दूसरा जो God है, वो क्या है?
Yeah. See, Brahma, in Vedanta Shastra, Brahma means pure consciousness.
The lastest state.
The highest, Paramatma. There is nothing in there. There is no creation. There is nothing, no Shakti, no Vikalpa, nothing is there. It is pure consciousness where there is no creation, there is no anything. It is just being. Into that beingness, when the Maya Shakti is joined with it, then we call that as Ishvara. So, this Tata is Ishvara. Tvam is Jiva. So who is Ishvara? Brahma, Paramatma plus Maya Shakti. Like when I call you, suppose there is a person, he's a singer. When you say singer means what? That person plus the ability to sing. That ability to sing is Maya. So if you remove that ability to singing, then that person is no more singer. He's just he. Like that, the absolute existence is Brahma. When into that Brahma, Paramatma, the Shakti is joined, Maya Shakti, the power to create, the power to sustain. When that Shakti is joined, then we call Brahma as Ishvara.
The one who creates.
Create, sustain this universe is Ishvara, not Brahma. Brahma is just pure consciousness.
Maya is the Shakti of Brahma itself.
Right? Paramatma, Brahma. Yeah, but I am telling you, there is another word in Sanskrit, Brahma. So that Brahma. Brahma means illusions. Okay. So that's when I was hearing, I was first hearing this word Brahma. So Brahma is that supreme consciousness. When into that supreme consciousness Maya Shakti is joined, then we call that as Ishvara. The supreme consciousness, somehow when avidya is covering, then we call the same thing as Jiva. So remove the avidya and Maya. What actually exists is pure consciousness. That's what says Tattvabodha. That you are. You are not Ishvara. You are that supreme pure consciousness. The liberation is what they are telling. When you remove the Maya, avidya Shakti of mind, and remove the Maya Shakti of the Ishvara, then there is supreme consciousness. And then we realize that I am that consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi. Then there is no more identification with the body, mind and intellect. And then it merges back into the supreme consciousness. That is, no, that's Aham Brahmasmi. That is the next one. Tattvamasi is the Upadesha Vakya, and the Anubhava is Aham Brahmasmi, not Aham Ishwarosmi. So, when it's liberated, then the Jiva understand that I am Brahman, not I am Ishvara. Although Upadesha was Tattvamasi, you are that, you are Ishvara. That is a Vachyartha. But the Lakshyartha is you are supreme consciousness. And when we realize that, then our Anubhava Vakya is Aham Brahma Asmi, not Aham Ishvara Asmi. Simple? Thank you. Now let us see the text. Now, page number 106. This Bhagatyaga, there's another word also, Jahat and Ajahat. Okay? Jahat means Tyaga. Ajahat means Bhaga. Okay? Sometimes, when you read some other text, you will see Jahat, Ajahat, Lakshana. It is Bhagatyaga Lakshana only. Another word for it. Okay. Page number 106. So in 105, there is a question raised that how is it possible to have oneness of Ishvara and Jiva? That we have read. Now come 106. Idi ched na. Idi ched na. So if you ask that how, Jiva and Ishvara can be one, yes, we are not. See, although Tattvamasi Vakya's Vachyartha is you are Ishvara, the Lakshyartha is you are Brahma. Stula, Sukshma, Sharirabhimani, Tvampada Vachyartha. So what is Tvampad's Vachyartha? What is the Tvampad's direct meaning? Vachyartha, the direct meaning. What is the Stula Sukshma Sharira Abhimani? The one who is identified with gross and subtle body. That's the meaning of Tvam, Jiva. Tvam means Jiva. What do you mean by Jiva? A person who is identified with his a physical and then emotional self. That is what generally we say, I am this body, I am my thoughts, I am this. So that is known as Jiva. Okay? Stula Sukshma Sharira Abhimani. One who is identified with his gross and subtle body is known as, is the direct meaning of Tvam-pada. So what is the direct meaning of Tvam-pada? Jiva. Who is Jiva? Stula Sukshma Sharira Abhimani. One who has, one who feels one with Stula Sukshma Sharira. Stula Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Tvam-pada Vachyartha. So that is Vachyartha. What is Lakshyartha? Upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam shuddham chaitanyam tvam-pada vachyartha. Upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam. Please read, okay? Shuddham chaitanyam tvam-pada lakshyartha. So vachyartha is Jiva. When you say Tvam, what do you mean by Jiva? Who is a Jiva? The one who is identified with the gross and the subtle body. That is Jiva. But what is the implied meaning of Tvam? When you say Tvam, what do you mean by that word? The direct meaning is Jiva. The indirect meaning is Brahma. Shuddham Chaitanyam. Tvam-pada lakshyartha. The implied meaning of Tvam is Shuddham Chaitanyam. Paramatma, Brahma. What is that Paramatma? Upadhi vinirmuktam. One who is free from all kinds of upadhis. We have studied upadhi yesterday. Like the body, mind, intellect, Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, our Pancha Koshas, they are all upadhis through which we express ourselves. So, what is this Lakshyartha, the implied meaning of Tvam in Tattvamasi Vakya? That is Upadhi vinirmuktam, devoid of all kinds of upadhi conditionings. Vinirmuktam, one who is freed from all kinds of conditionings like body, mind, intellect, etc. Shuddham Chaitanyam. That Shuddha Chaitanya is the implied meaning of Tvam-pada. But where is it? Samadhi dasha sampannam. When we enter into Samadhi, we recognize, we realize that Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Supreme Consciousness. That Chaitanya, which is without any upadhi, without any touch of Sharira, Pancha Kosha, Avasthatraya, etc. That pure consciousness, which is indicated before as Satyam Jnanam Anandam, that is the implied meaning of Tvam-pada. Direct meaning of Tvam-pada is Jiva. Implied meaning of Tvam-pada is Brahma. Once more, let us read. Please repeat. Okay? Idi chenna stula sukshma sharira abhimani Tvam-pada vachyartha upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam shuddham chaitanyam Tvam-pada lakshyartha. If there is such a doubt, no, it is not. The literal meaning of the word thou is the one identified with the gross and subtle bodies. The implied meaning of the word Tao is pure consciousness, which is free from all conditionings and which is appreciated, which is experienced in the state of samadhi. Okay. So that is about Tvampada. What about Tattvabodha? What is the meaning of Tattvabodha? We have already seen the Vachyartha of Tattvabodha is Ishvara, Lakshyartha of Tattvabodha is Paramatma. Okay? Evam Sarvajñatvadi Vishishta Sarvajñatvadi Vishishta Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Vachyartha Evam Sarvajñatvadi Vishishta Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Vachyartha. So what is the direct meaning of Tat Ishvaraha? Who is Ishvara? Sarvajñaha, Sarvaishvaraha, Sarvashaktiman, with the power of Maya. Why he gets this Sarvajñatvadi? Because of Maya. So that Brahman plus Maya is Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? Evam Sarvajñatvadi Vishishta Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Vachyartha. The direct meaning of Tat is Ishvara. Who is Ishvara? One who is Sarvajña, etc. Sarvajña, Sarvashaktiman, Sarveshwaraha, Sarvandaryami, Sarvavyapi, Mayadishaha. That Ishvara is the direct meaning of Tattvabodha. But Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshyartha Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshyartha. But what is the implied meaning of Tattvabodha? That is Upadhi Shunyam. What is the Upadhi of Ishvara? Maya. Upadhi Shunyam. You remove Maya from Ishvara. Then who is Ishvara? Paramatma. You remove avidya from Jiva. Then who is Jiva? Paramatma. So this is the oneness. Upadhi Shunyam. Upadhi Shunyam, you remove the Upadhi. Which is the Upadhi? Maya. If you remove the Maya from Ishvara, then there's only Brahman. If you remove avidya from Jiva, there's only Brahman. So that is the Lakshyartha. Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam. So if you remove the Maya, which is the Upadhi of Ishvara, then what is there? Shuddha Chaitanyam. Brahma alone is there. That is the Lakshyartha of Tvam. Vachyartha is Ishvara, Lakshyartha is Paramatma. Once more. Evam Sarvajñatvadi Vishishtaha Tattvabodha Lakshyartha Evam cha Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshyartha Evam cha Jiveshwarayoho Chaitanya Rupena Abhede Badhaka Bhavaha. Yes, when you say that Tattvamasi, the direct meaning of Tattvamasi is you are God. But that is not what Vedanta tried to tell us. The direct meaning cannot be, it's not possible only. So we have to understand, like, Simho Manavakaha. When you say that man is a lion, a man cannot be a lion. So you have to take the implied meaning. What is the implied meaning of Tattvamasi? So the Tattvabodha's implied meaning is Shuddha Chaitanya. Tattvabodha's direct meaning is Jiva. Who is Jiva? Brahman plus avidya. You remove avidya plus that, from that, then it becomes Shuddha Chaitanya Brahma. Now, what is the direct meaning of Ishvara, Tattvabodha Ishvara? Ishvara means Brahman plus Maya. You remove Maya, which is the Upadhi, then what is only there? Brahman alone is there. So when you say Tat Tvam Asi, what we want to say is the true nature of Ishvara and the true nature of Jiva is one and the same. You are Brahman. So when you say Tat Tvam Asi, what is the implied meaning is not you are God. The implied meaning is you are supreme consciousness. So here what it is telling is there's only consciousness. Okay, the consciousness is now appearing as Jiva and Ishvara. The consciousness along with the Maya Shakti, we call it Ishvara. The consciousness somehow associated with Avidya Shakti, we call it Jiva. So what is Tattvamasi is trying to tell us is, Tattvamasi is trying to tell us, if you remove the Maya from Ishvara and Avidya from Jiva, there's only pure consciousness. That is Vedanta standpoint. Now what Sankhya philosophy is telling is, there is Prakriti or Pradhana and there is Purusha. And there are not one Purusha, there are innumerable Purushas. The Jivas are endless. Jiva means the Purushas are endless. And when the Jiva and the Purusha and the Prakriti is joined together, then samsara is there. So if you can remove the Prakriti from Purusha, see, in Sankhya philosophy, the Prakriti is also Tattva. It actually exists. It's there. It's not a Maya. It is truly there. And Purusha is also there. So when they come together, then the Maya and this Pancha Prakriti is there. So if you can, detach the Purusha from Prakriti, then you enter the Kevalam. But the problems with the Sankhya philosophy is, one, it is not that when you are detached from Prakriti, yes, Kaivalyam is there, but the Prakriti is still there. Prakriti is Astitva, it is there. So there are all possibilities that you will be caught up with Prakriti. Now it's like, now you are free from Prakriti, but then how can you say that if the Prakriti is true, it's a reality, then there is all possibility of again joining. Another problem with Sankhya is they accept multiple Purushatva, means all of us are Purusha. So when you say all of us are Purusha, then there is Asankhya Purushatvam. And Asankhya Purushatva, when you say that Asankhya Purusha is absolute, that is a contradiction. There cannot be many absolutes. I am also absolute, you are also absolute. That is not possible. Absolute means absolute. There cannot be, if you say that he is the absolute power of this country, there cannot be many absolute powers. There's only absolute can be only one. So these are the two things which we differ from Sankhya and Yoga. So Sankhya thinks of multiple Purushatva, which is not accepted by the Vedanta. We think that all of us are appearing as Jiva because of the Avidya. The moment the Avidya is removed, actually in essence all of us are one only. Ekameva Advitiya. But in Sankhya, they accept Purusha Nanatva. There are hundreds, and how many other people are there? So many other Purushas are there. And then they call them, each Purusha as absolute. That is not Purna. That is not possible. There cannot be many Purnas. Okay, let us not go into Sankhya now. So Sankhya has their own philosophy, but Vedanta differ. Many things we accept, but Vedanta differ at these 2 points of one, called they accept Pradhanam as Tattva. Means Pradhana, the Prakriti is something which actually exists. That is one difference between us and Maya. It sometimes sounds very much like Sankhya, but in essence it is very different. We also call Maya, sometimes we call Prakriti also, but our Prakriti is a power which appears and disappears. As long as this confusion is there, it appears to be there. When it is not, when the confusion goes away, we don't see the Maya at all. When we realize I am the supreme consciousness and abide, then there is no Maya for him. Maya appears and disappears, but Pradhanam or Prakriti exists forever. Only you are detached from it. That is the problem. Second is, second is this, Purusha Nanatva. There are many other problems also. Third is, they say that Prakriti is the creator, etc. Then now, how this Prakriti and Pradhanam comes together? So many problems are there from the viewpoint of Advaita with Sankhya. Okay? It is not the same. What I want to say is, the Advaita Vedanta is not telling the same thing what Sankhya says. There's a difference. Later. Let us not go into that now, because it will change in there. So what Vedanta is trying to tell us is Tattvabodha means you are that supreme consciousness. Not you are absolute Ishvara. Although Tattvabodha is meaning, the direct meaning of Tattvabodha is Ishvara, the direct meaning of Tvampada is Jiva. But here we should not take the direct meaning, we should take the Lakshyartha. The Lakshyartha is Tat means Brahma plus Maya, Tva means Brahma plus Avidya. With the help of Bhagatyaga Lakshana, we give up Tyaga of Maya and Avidya, and we retain the Brahma in both. Then we realize that Tattvamasi is, I am that Brahman, I am the supreme consciousness. Once more, let us read this. Iti chenna stula sukshma sharirabhimani Tvampada vachyartha upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam Shuddham chaitanyam Tvampada lakshyartha evam sarvajñatvadi vishishtah Ishvarah Tattvabodha vachyartha upadhi shunyam Shuddha chaitanyam Tattvabodha lakshyartha. So when you are in your textbook, when they are both placed, when in the first, Stula Sukshma Sharira Abhimani Tvampada Vachyartha. Now, Upadhi Vinirmuktam Samadhi Dasha. On top of that Upadhi, underline the Upadhi, and top you write Avidya. What is this Upadhi of Jiva? Is Avidya. Okay? And so Upadhi Vinirmuktam means Avidya Vinirmuktam Samadhi Dasha Sambannam Shuddham Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshyartha. Who is that? Atman. Now, here also, Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam, about Ishvara, when that Upadhi Shunyam is written, underline the word Upadhi and write on top Maya. What is the Upadhi of Ishvara? Maya. So, Upadhi Shunyam means without Maya. Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam. Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshyartha evam cha Jiveshwarayoho Chaitanya Rupena Abhede Badhaka Bhavaha. So if you remove these upadhis, then there is no contradiction at all. The contradiction is on the base of upadhis. As long as there is upadhis are there, then there are the conditionings, that is Maya and Avidya, there is contradiction. You remove the upadhi. So what you want to say is, Ishvara's true nature is Shuddha Chaitanya. That Shuddha Chaitanya alone is Jiva's true nature. Let us read Guruji's comment. If there is such a doubt, no, it is not so. The literal meaning of the word thou is one identified with the gross and subtle bodies. The implied meaning of the word thou is the pure consciousness, which is free from all conditionings, avidya, and which is appreciated in the state of deep meditation, in samadhi. So also, the literal meaning of the word that, tat, is the Lord who is endowed with omniscience, etc. Ishvara, sarvajñatvadi. The implied meaning of the word that is the pure consciousness, free from all conditionings. Thus, there is no contradiction regarding the essential oneness, not apparent oneness, okay? Essential oneness between the individual and the Lord from the standpoint of consciousness. From the standpoint of consciousness, the Jiva is also consciousness and Ishvara is also consciousness. So when the Tattvamasi Vakya is given, Tattvamasi is not to say that you are God only, although that is the direct meaning. But you should not take the direct meaning there. You should take the implied meaning. What is the implied meaning? You are that supreme consciousness, which is the true nature of Ishvara. The true nature of Ishvara and the true nature of Jiva is supreme consciousness. So there is no difference. So you are that supreme consciousness. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.